Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome for the first time, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. And I had said in my last video that I wanted to share my story and really more elaborate on how things have been. I actually expressed and talked a little bit about how my world has literally been turned upside down. Not only, the trouble with moving to another state. I am an Army spouse. I'm pretty used to that part. But the transition with the COVID and the homeschooling at home. But also, I have also made the connection that I'm starting to experience, and I have been in perimenopause. And literally, guys, it's been really rough. I was hoping I was going to be one of those women that just, as long as I did the right things, exercised and meditated and still ate the right foods and took care of myself, then I was going to be fine. Whoa, furthest from the truth. So I wanted to come on here and share. I think this is it's not just me thinking, this is such a neglected topic, and we are literally have no resources. It's literally, to me, the way I've been feeling is there's nothing out there. And I feel like even if I can bring some awareness to Divinethreefold and talk about my experience, that it will help someone going through this as well, also feeling completely alone and just not having any sort of help. I have been to numerous doctors because, of course, I'm an Army spouse, so that kind of is helpful because we move and, our doctors switch back and forth. So I have probably seen numerous OBGYNs and numerous doctors. Let me just rewind a minute. So I'm going to be 48, and I definitely have been starting to experience these symptoms and signs way earlier than 48. So probably 42, 43 for sure, things started to change for me. I actually had a baby pretty late. I had a baby at 40, which I don't recommend. I had a baby too young, and then one too old, I think, but I definitely don't recommend. I don't think we're set up physically, mentally, emotionally to have babies in our 40s. But if you're a 40-year-old mom, or even after that, it's not, I have no regrets, of course, but comes with some challenges. I also had a baby at 19, so I have a 27-year-old, and whoa, so the difference there was night and day. And then I actually had a baby at 32 and a baby at 35, and then one at 40. So whoa, the difference, I know, okay? So it's a little easier in your 30s, more difficult in your 20s. So, there's things that come with each, but I had a really rough time with pregnancy. So I also felt like I deserved to have a really easy time during menopause. So like I said, I started to struggle. I want to talk about my first symptom. So my first symptom was sleep. So I could not sleep, okay, worth a rep. But I didn't really make the connection of why I couldn't sleep. I still had a baby in my bed. I was co-sleeping and nursing my son. So I just kind of thought, okay, well, how can you sleep with, a baby in your bed? That makes it really difficult. So I feel like I started to already experience some sleep disturbance, which is a big sign of perimenopause. But I just didn't really make the connection. So then I started to experience my cycles started to come really close together, and like really close together, like 20 days. I was having periods, like I said, every 20 days, which, oh my gosh, was so ridiculous. And again, I meant to rewind a little bit. I had a really tough time being pregnant. So I suffered from hyperemesis with all my children. And the last baby, my last son, my 7-year-old, I almost, either I was going to die or he was going to die or both, but I actually had to be on a feeding tube. They put a Dobhoff, a feeding tube, up my nose and bypassed my stomach and put it into my intestines. And that's how I was fed. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I completely just would dehydrate and starve. And I had to be on medication with all of my pregnancies, with all my babies. I took actually Zofran, if anyone has taken that. So again, if you're familiar with hyperemesis, it's, severe morning sickness that's not just morning, it's 24/7. So I had a horrible time, and my pregnancies progressed and got worse with each one. And oh my gosh, I mean, with my last one, I would have never, gotten pregnant again, not if I would have known how bad it was going to be. I mean, it was so bad. So again, I was bedridden luckily for me, my hyperemesis starts to get better and, a lot better once I'm about 6 months pregnant. So luckily I was able to get off the tube and start eating normal. And then the last, about 4 months of my pregnancy are okay. So yes, it was horrible. Literally, I was bedridden. I lost like 43 pounds, and being pregnant, it's not what you want to do. So again, with menopause, I really thought, wow, I deserve to have a really easy. But that's not been the case. So again, I wanted to not make this video too long or too, many topics, but I just wanted to give a little backstory and say that sleep was probably my first thing. And now that I look back, I know that the sleep disturbance was more my body starting to move through that transition. And I'll talk about the second was then my period started to get really close, like literally, again, like I said earlier, like every 20 days. It was sometimes every 19 days. It was ridiculous. And then the consistency and the heaviness, kept changing. 1 month, it would be hardly anything. Another month, and then the following month, it would be horrible. So that's really what my first symptom was. Sleep, no sleep, really having trouble sleeping. And then as well, my cycles getting closer together. And then I want to continue to talk about, share each symptom that I've been experiencing, but I didn't want it to be too much in one video. So, and again, what I'm trying to do here is bring awareness to this. We deserve more for going through this transition. A woman spends half her life in menopause. So you're in perimenopause. You can be into perimenopause for maybe up to 10 years. Then you enter into menopause after you have had no menstruation for at least 1 year, 12 months. And then you are in menopause, and then you enter into postmenopause after that year, no longer having your menstruation. So, but then we stay postmenopausal for the rest of our life. So where is the help? Where is the resource? Where is help for us? Again, I have felt so alone. And I know I talked in my last video that I have a wonderful lady I found on YouTube, Dr. Taylor. Her channel is Menopause Taylor. And she literally re-educated me and really helped to get my life back with help that I was not getting from any doctor. And I'll just give you a little snip. The first doctor I went to, of course, told me I was depressed. I came in the office and I said, I don't know what's happening to me. I hate my husband, which if you women can relate to that, like in PMS time, they're not our favorite person. But then as soon as that PMS would start, we were okay again. I kind of liked him again. So I went to the doctor and I said, okay, I usually hate my husband right before my period, but now that's not going away. Once I start bleeding, I still hate him. You got to help me. And of course, this is a male. Not to say that all male doctors don't know some things, because I think they do. But remember, let me just put what I've learned is doctors are not educated in this subject, okay? They're not. They don't. Just like you're not going to probably go to your doctor for nutrition help, okay? They're just not educated in that field. So this makes sense. So he immediately prescribed me Zoloft, said I was depressed, and that was it. So that was the first experience of the type of help I received. Of course, I did not take the Zoloft because I knew I wasn't depressed, even though you feel like you are depressed. But that's just an example. And again, I don't want to make this video too long, and I thought I'd break it up, kind of going into each symptom. And then I want to talk about what am I doing. So I have had such a difficult time with sleep. And I know that then we don't sleep, and then everything else is 10,000 times worse because we're not sleeping. So it's a vicious cycle. So what finally has worked for me, I've tried everything you can imagine. Melatonin doesn't work for me. I can't take any sort of Tylenol PMs or, those type of things. I hallucinate. So, plus I didn't want to be dependent on anything. Doctors did say, oh, we'll give you some Ambien or, I cannot take those. I cannot take those. So that was not an option for me. So I literally, I've tried everything you can imagine, something more on the holistic side. So I didn't find any relief for that. The only relief I have found is, if you're familiar with doTERRA, it's an essential oil company. They do make some sleep gels, and those will help me to kind of get into a sleep. So those have really helped. So if anyone wants to know, I can leave it in the description box. That has helped me for sleep. But nothing else has really worked. It's been so difficult. If you don't want to go the medication route and take sleeping pills, it's really rough. So, but I did find that I was also extremely low in vitamin B12 and D3. And I've been doing a lot of research on my own, and they're really making that connection. And there's this wonderful doctor, I'll put her in the description box as well. She's a sleep doctor, neurologist, and but specifically sleep disorders. And she has made that correlation. So by starting to take the B12 and the D3, I did notice a big improvement. And I kind of think that not just the perimenopause, but also being low in the B12 and the vitamin D3 has really helped. So I'm still not sleeping perfect, and every night is kind of different, but it's definitely much better. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you have any comments, questions, please, I would love to hear your feedback. It would be so helpful. And I hope you have found this video helpful. If you're experiencing the same thing, again, I would love to reach out and chat about it. So please leave me a comment. But yeah, that's what's working for me at the moment. I still take the sleep gels. And then again, I am taking a B complex, B12, that has the other Bs in it as well, and then the D3. And so again, this doctor has made this huge correlation between the D3 and the B12. So that is what I'm doing right now. And I will continue with the next video on some other things that have come up, some symptoms and signs that I've been experiencing. And again, this is just my experience with perimenopause. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's resonated with you, or you have gotten something from it. And I will see you in the next video. All my love.